Hey everyone, my name is Riley, and this video is a step-by-step beginner's tutorial for Microsoft Word. This video is aimed at people who are brand new to Microsoft Word, you have never really used the tool before, and in this video, I will show you step-by-step everything that you need to know. As soon as you load into Word, you will be taken over to this screen right here. Down at the bottom, you can see right now we have no recent content because we haven't created anything with Word yet. However, once you start creating some documents, you start creating some new Word files, they are all going to show up right here. So you will see the name of the document, they will all be listed, and then you can click in, go back to the document and continue working on it. So everything that you have worked on will show down here. You can also search for specific files. So if you have a lot of files right here, like a lot of different documents that you have been working on, it might take a while to scroll down and find it. So in here, you can use this search button to find the exact file that you are looking for. Let's now go in and create a new Word document. Well, to do this, we have a few different options. We can either create a completely blank document right here, or alternatively, we can choose from one of these templates. We also have this button on the right hand side to see more templates. And if we click into this, these are all of the pre-built templates that Word is going to give you. We have things like resume, meeting notes, student reports, sales invoices, group writing project, daily wellness routine. And although if you hover over these, they do say preview, it doesn't really give you a preview of the document. It kind of brings it up in a slightly bigger space, but it's still hard to read unless we zoom in, and then we lose a bit of quality. So I don't know why it's laid out like that. However, if you do find one of these templates that you would like to use, for example, let's use this daily wellness routine, then all we need to do is click on create right here, and this is going to take us over to that document. So in here, we can now go in and edit this. You can do this for any of these templates right here. Once you have opened a template up, then all we need to do is click on the text that we need to change. So I can click right here, click on the backspace, and now I can type whatever I want to type. So at 7 AM, I can say wake up and walk the dog, just like that. And you get the idea, we just click in, we can edit just like that. And that's just a brief overview of the template. Now to show you how to actually use everything inside of Word, I'm going to be creating a new blank document. So let's go ahead and open that up. Just like this, we are now taken into a blank Word document. The first thing that we need to do is go in here and start typing out some text. So I'm going to click into the piece of paper right here on my Word document, and I'm going to title this Microsoft Word Tutorial. So we now have some text on the document. However, this doesn't look like a title yet. The way that we can change the format of the text that we have on this Word document is up here along this top bar. So we want to make sure that we are in the Home tab along the top, and then we can see this big toolbar that stretches the entire way. To change existing words that we have on the document, we need to make sure these are highlighted. So click and drag to highlight the words. And then we can go up to this top and start playing around with these settings. This option right here is going to allow you to change the font. So we can click on this drop down arrow, and this is going to bring up all of the fonts that we can use inside of Microsoft Word. Now, these fonts that we can see right here, we have two categories. We have most recently used, and we also have pinned fonts. Now, these are just a small number of the fonts that we can get. To access the entire catalog, click down here on Office Fonts. And as you can see, that's going to open up a lot more fonts that we can choose from. So you might want to go up, and we can even unpin these fonts right here, because I've never heard of these fonts before. These are just pinned by default. And then we can go down and pin our own fonts and the fonts that we like to use. We can see a preview of each font shown right here, and you can try these out, see if you like them, and if not, we can switch to another font. If you already know a font that you like to use, well, we can just search this using this font search bar at the top. For example, one of my favorite fonts is Daytona, so I can search for this right here, and then I can select the font. Just like that, the font is now changed. Let's highlight the text again. And next to where we can change the font, we can also change the font size. So right now, by default, this is set to 12. However, I'm creating a title, so I want this to be a little bit bigger. Let's try this out at 36. That's a little bit too big. Let's now go back in. Let's try 24. Perfect, that's a lot better. These next two options are just going to allow you to up the font by 1 or push the font down by 1. So if we go up, you can see that's going to change to 26. And then if we go back, it's going to change to 24. If you do need anything in between, so we can see it skips from 26 to 24. If we wanted 25, we could just type this in. And as you can see, that's going to change to 25 right there. We then have bold, italic, and underline. And these options are how we can bold the text right here, italicize the text, and underline the text. We can see that all three of these options are now selected because they are outlined by this grey rectangle. I actually only want this title to be bold and underlined. So I'm going to deselect italicized. Perfect. Next along, we have the highlight tool. So if you want to highlight certain words or phrases within your Word document, this is what we can use this tool for. For example, if I want to specifically highlight the word word, then what I can do is select the word word by clicking and dragging once again. We can then go to this highlight tool, click on this drop down arrow to choose the color of this. Let's say we want this to be blue, and that's going to highlight that word right there. If you make a mistake, or if you want to go back at any time, for example, if I want to unhighlight this word right here, then all I have to do is go to this undo button in this top left corner. As soon as I click undo, it's going to undo the change that I just made. We can also click on this arrow right here, and this is going to open up the redo option. So if I click on redo, it's going to go back and remake the change that I just made. So once again, we have undo, which is going to take away, redo, which is going to bring it back. We can also change the font color using this option right here. So once again, we can highlight the text that we want to change the color of, and then we can click on this drop down arrow to choose the color we want to change this to. We can choose from any of these regular font colors, or if you have a specific color that you are looking for, we can click on more colors, and this is going to give you the entire color spectrum to choose from. So we choose the actual color using this slider at the bottom, and then we can choose the shade using this big bar. So if I want to change this to blue, let's set this to blue, and as you can see, my title is now blue. We can also do this for specific words by highlighting the word, going back, and let's just set this to yellow, and we can change it right there. Let's go ahead and undo the changes that we just made. Perfect. In this next category, we have bulleted lists, numbering lists, and checklists. So if I wanted to create any of these, then all I would have to do is move to the next line. So to move a line, we click the Enter key on the keyboard, and that's going to take us to a new line. Let's click that once again. And as you can see, we still have bold and underlined on, so we have a little underline here. Let's deselect that. Let's also change the font to a smaller font, let's say 12. And now we can start creating our list. So let's go for a bulleted list right here. And then we can say this tutorial is made up of the Home tab. Then we can click on Enter. And automatically this is going to move us on to the next bullet point. Then we can say Insert tab. Then we can click Enter once again to move down. Then we can say Layout tab. And so on and so forth. Alternatively, we could switch this to a numbered list by, once again, if we just want to select this from the default, we can move down, select the numbered list, and then this is going to work in the exact same way. But what we can also do is I can instantly switch this bulleted list to a numbered list or a checklist by simply highlighting the text and then clicking on numbered list. As you can see, that is now going to change. I could do the same for the checklist. So if I click on the checklist, that is now going to turn into a checklist. And with the checklist, I can click through, tick these off, and it's going to automatically strike through the options that I have completed. Let's go back. So I'm going to undo this until I have the numbered list once again, because what we can do is we can change the formatting right here. So we can see in the numbering library, these are all of the options we have. By default, it's just going to be 1, 2, 3 with the dots. But we have 1, 2, 3 with a bracket, with a double bracket. We have ABC, ABC with a bracket. And these are all of the options that we can choose from. I can just click on this. And as you can see, it's going to change to ABC. Bulleted list is going to work in the same way. We have a few different bullets to choose from. So if I choose the smiley faces, each of these is going to show up as a smiley face. But let's just go back and change this to a numbered list. Perfect. These next options are going to allow us to increase and decrease the indent. So if I go down here and let's say that I'm typing out my story and I need something indented. Well, I can click the Enter key to move down to that next bar. Go up here to increase the indent and it's going to automatically move me in to increase the indent. So I can continue typing and as you can see, I'm now going to be indented. You can also do the same thing by clicking the tab key on your keyboard, and this is just a shortcut to allow you to do it faster. If we want to decrease the indent, then we can just go up and decrease the indent, and then we can continue typing. Let's highlight this all and click on the backspace to delete this for now. The next option is going to be the text alignment. So with my title, this is currently aligned on the left-hand side, which isn't very good for a title. We want this to be in the middle. So the way that we change this is we once again highlight the title, go up to text alignment, and then you can see we can align this on the left where it is right now, in the center, on the right, and then justify is just going to take it to the left-hand side again. I'm not entirely sure what this does, and I never really use it. But for now, let's align this in the center, and just like that, that looks a lot better for a title. We can also add borders between certain sections. So for example, let's say that I wanted this as the top section. I can add a border here. To do this, we can go up to this border options button, click on this drop down arrow, and then we can choose from any of these borders. Now I want to split this section off from the next section. So all I'm looking for is a bottom border that's going to be added right here. Then I can click underneath that border and continue to type out with that border now in place. So I can just continue typing. If we need a new section, then I can go up here, select the border option, so I could go once again bottom border, and that is going to be entered right there. With these, we can also adjust the weight or how thick the line is, the style, whether this is a solid line, a dashed line, a dotted line. We can change the color of this, the padding, and all of that good stuff. You may also want to increase the line spacing on your Word document. So maybe these right here we feel are too close for the look that we are going for. Well, to change this, we go up to line spacing at the top. We can click on this drop down arrow, and by default, this is going to be set to 1. So if we increase this to 1.5, you can see the space in between each of these lines is going to be increased. Let's increase this to 3. And as you can see, that space is now going to be a lot bigger. So you can use this section and this line spacing tool to add space between the lines of text. And then this bar right here is once again going to allow us to format these different options. So if I just highlight this text right here, and click on this drop down arrow, we can change between any of these options. So if I want to instantly change this to a title, I just click on title, and that's now going to be changed to a title. We can also change this to add some emphasis to this, and we can see this is now going to be italicized. We can add a quote, and it's now going to appear as a quote. So this is just an easier option to go ahead and format your text right here. We then have the designer, and the designer is one of my favorite tools on Microsoft Word. So if I actually go ahead and delete all of the randomness that we have right here and actually start typing something out. So I just wrote something real quick right here, basically just explaining that this is a Word tutorial, what you will learn, and added a quick numbered list. And this looks very basic right now. But what we can do is go over to the designer tool, and we can change how the entire document looks in just a click. So it's going to show us all of these themes right here. So we could choose one of these. Let's say we want to go for this theme. It's then going to apply the design. And as you can see, this already looks a lot more professional. So we could go down, we could choose this one right here. And it's going to change to this. If you don't like any of these themes, we can load some more in. And basically, you just want to choose the theme that fits the look of the design that you are going for the best. This basically takes out you having to mess around and choose the different font styles and the font sizes and everything that you need to do. Because what you can do, just as I did right here, is we can type this out very basic. I've added no color, I've added no images, I've basically added nothing to this. And then we can use this designer tool on the right-hand side after we have finished the entire document to make this look how we want it to look. Perfect. Let's leave this as it is for now. Next, let's move over to the Insert tab. And here we can see all of the things that we can insert into your Word document. The first thing that we can do is we can add in a page break. So what a lot of people who are especially new to Microsoft Word will do is if they need to get onto the next page, they will basically just hold the Enter key, and then eventually we will get brought onto the next page. So that's not the worst way to do it. However, an easier way to do this is we can just finish typing the text right here. We can then click on page break, and that's instantly going to make us a new page. Next, we can insert a table. So we just click on this table option. We can then choose how big we want the table to be. So we could add this as like a 2x2 table. I'm going to go for 5x5. That's a pretty good size. We can click on this right here. And just like that, we now have a 5x5 table. So we can go in, we can start typing things into each of these boxes right here, filling out the table as we usually would. And then right here, as soon as we click into the table right here, it's going to open up this table option along the top. So we can click in, and this is where we can design the table. So first of all, we can choose how we want this table to look. So we can choose it like this. We can choose it like this. We can basically choose from any of these options on how we want the table to look. We can then choose the border. So like the weight of the border, how thick this is. We can choose cell shading and choose what color we want the cell to be. So I could go along and change these all to orange if I want to. Let's just go back for now. We can also select certain sections. So I could select the entire table. And now I can make changes to the entire table. So I could make the whole thing orange, the entire thing blue. Let's just go back. I can also go to select and select just a column, which is down, or a row that is across. So if I go row, then change this to blue. That's how we can change tables right there. So let's delete that for now. Going back to insert, we can also add images. So I can go to picture right here. Then we can choose if we want to upload from this device, OneDrive, stock images. So we can choose from different stock images right here. So I can go in here and select one of these images. I can add that in. And that is now going to be added into my Word document. So that is now added in. And then to make this bigger or smaller, we can grab these little dots on the outside. And if I drag this in, that's going to make the image smaller. And if I drag this out, that's going to make the image bigger. We can also add a border to this. So we can choose the border right here, choose the border color. Then we can go down and add like the weight. So how thick we want this to be and all of that good stuff. We can add a frame to this as well. So we can see right now this is square. But if I want to change this to an oval frame, I can select it from this menu right here. And we can see that's now going to become an oval. We can choose from any of these options. So just play around with these, play around with the picture style and see which one you prefer, see which one you like for your document. And I really like the look of that. That looks pretty awesome. So let's go back to insert and we can start drawing. So we can go to the drawing tool right here. We can select different shapes that we can add in and draw these. We can choose the shape fill, the shape outline. We can go to like a pen and start drawing in pen. And then once you have finished your drawing, we just click on save and close. And that's going to drop into the document right here. So we can add that in right there, but I'm just going to go ahead and delete this. We can add links into the document. So in here, let's say we want to link to a certain section. For example, I want Microsoft Word. When people click on this, I want them to be taken over to Microsoft Word right here. So all I'm going to do is copy the link that I want people sent to, go back over, highlight the text, then go insert and link. And then all I'm going to do is enter the link right here, paste this in, insert. And we can see that this is now a link that's going to take people to Microsoft Word. So that has changed the color, which is pretty annoying, but I'm just going to go back, home, and then we can change the color once again, just like that. And we can see that this is now a link, but I have my color back. We can also add comments into your Word document. And essentially, this is not going to be relevant unless you are sharing your document. But what this is going to allow is this is going to allow other people to comment on your work. So what people can do is click on comment right here. So I was right here. And then we can say this is awesome, just like that. And it's going to show where they left the comment. So if I wanted to leave a comment right here, what you will learn, and then we could say new comment, and I could say go into more detail about this. And then we can see all of the comments along the side and each section that they were left at. So this is helpful for teachers or people who are reviewing work, and they can set that right there. Let's go ahead and delete these for now. We can also insert page numbers. So this is going to be usually helpful for school or if you are writing a book. Well, we can just go to page numbers right here, click on this page number where we want to add this in, and then click OK. And then as you can see, the page number is going to be right here in the bottom left corner because that's where we set this to. Alternatively, we can have this on the bottom right, the top right, anywhere on the page that we want. And that is page numbers. We can also add different symbols into the Word document. So certain symbols you will not be able to get on your keyboard. So in here, we can add like the euro key, we can add the pound sign, we can add a smiley face, we can add an infinity. All of these we can add right here, very easy. And then emojis are the same, where we can choose the emoji that we want to add in, and that's going to add that emoji to the document. Next is layout. This is a very quick category because it doesn't really make a huge difference, but what we can do is play around with the margins on the document. We can play around with the orientation, whether this is landscape or portrait. We can choose the size of this, so whether this is A4, A5, legal, any of these options. We can also add line numbers, so we can add them in right there, and it's going to show the number on each line. We can add indents, we can add spacing before, spacing after. We can change the entire page color of the document. So for certain people who have like color blindness, you might be able to set this to like a lighter shade of yellow, so something like this. We can add that in. And as you can see, that's going to change the color of the document. Next, we have references. So this is where we can add in like a table of contents. We can insert a footnote here at the bottom. We can insert an endnote. And then in review, this is very nice because in here we can check for spelling and grammar. So spelling and grammar check is complete. No mistakes were found. But if I was to go in here and let's say that, what's a word that I can spell wrong? Actually. So let's spell actually like this. And then what it will do is if we go to spelling and grammar, it's going to pick up where we said actually, it's going to say actually it's spelled like this. So we can spell it like that and perfect. That is now changed. We can then go up and see the word count for the document. So we can see 47 words, 199 characters. So this is perfect if you are creating like an essay or something that's due for school. It has to be a certain word count. Then you can check that right there. You can also translate this into another language. So it's basically select text from the document. So we can select that right there. And then we can go down and change this to, let's say, French. And then we can see that's going to automatically change to French. So we could insert that. And that is how we can translate using this area. Then we can go to view. And in here, we can change to like the reading view. So once we click on this, it's basically going to remove all of the tools and just allow us to read easier. So in here, we can't make any changes. This is just the reading view. And then to get back, we just go edit document. And we go back into the edit document area. In view, we can also go for immersive reader, which is going to use AI to read out your document to you. So we can click on this, click on play.
Microsoft Word tutorial.
And then it's going to use AI to read it out to you right there. We can also change the zoom right here, but an easier way to change zoom is here at the bottom. So this is always available. We can basically zoom in and out using this slider, but you can also do this in the view area. We can add a ruler in. So if you need a ruler along the top, we can increase and decrease the margins using this as well. And then we can go over here and change this between dark mode and light mode to switch the background of your document. Now it's very hard to read in my opinion in dark mode, so I always keep this on light mode. So those are basically all of the tools that you need in order to use Microsoft Word. All that is left to do now is save and potentially share this file. So if we look at the top left corner right here, we can see this is called document 4. Now this is not the title that I want for my document. So to change this, we just click on the title and then we can choose a file name. I'm going to call this Microsoft Word tutorial. Perfect. We can click on enter and just like that, this is now going to be saved. Now by default, this is going to be saved online. So this is just going to auto save if you are using the web version like I am. But what we might also want to do is save this as a physical file. So we can go up to file right here, then save as. Then you can see we can download a copy. We can download this as a PDF, any of these different file types. We can go to export, send this document to a Kindle, transform it to a web page. But most importantly, we can go down to share right here. We can share with people. So we can click on this, enter in the person's email, and then share that document with them through an email. We can copy a link to this document. So then we can share the link and share it with people that way. Or alternatively, we can embed this document on your blog or website. So those are all of the options right there. We can back out, we can click into this, and that is how you can use Microsoft Word. So that is my complete Microsoft Word tutorial. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to smash that like button and tap that subscribe button. And until next time, take it easy.